How old do you think old is?
60.
60? That's a bit
Yeah.
young.
How old is old?
That's hard.
Like my dad thinks he's quite old, but he's not. I feel I'm quite young, but I'm not. So it's one's perception.
I think it depends on the person. Like, my grandfather was 90 and totally, kicking.
Well, I think that's entirely depends on yourself. I'm very old, but yet I don't think I am.
Well, I heard of a woman who ran her first marathon at 78.
What do you think your life will look like when you're older?
Hopefully surrounded by the people I love.
I would hope that I'm in a comfortable environment.
Yeah, mainly just not in pain or
Yeah.
like frail.
跳跳舞.
Dancing every day. Yeah, I want to live in a sweet penthouse and have a personal chef.
What does your aging journey look like? Welcome to the best 30 years, helping to make your aging journey the very best it can be. As Andy Rooney once said, it's paradoxical that the idea of living a long life appeals to everyone, but the idea of getting old doesn't appeal to anyone. There are lots of rumours about the aging journey.
I heard of a man who starved to death when his wife died because he didn't know how to make a sandwich.
So that's why we're going to give you facts from specialists in this 5-part TV series, The Best 30 Years. Yes, we're going to cover it all, from health to homes, finances to legalities, friendship to family, dementia, and even love and sex. We live in a society that celebrates and joyfully anticipates all the chapters of life, except the last, the aging years, which many of us refuse to even think about. While some of us plan to enjoy the riches of aging, others don't plan at all.
This lack of planning is not a reflection of a type of person. It's often a result of denial and a lack of access to reliable information.
A lack of information creates fear, which leads to inaction or the making of choices which can determine the worst or the best 30 years of your life.
So why do we choose to ignore this vital chapter in our lives?
Like most Western societies, Australia really is a society characterised by ageism.
Our society is ageist, and older people can unwittingly enforce this discrimination. It's hard not to in a society that equates value with youth.
And ageism, of course, is the very opposite of showing respect for our tribal elders. There are a couple of reasons why ageism has been on the rise. One goes back to almost the middle of the 20th century when we saw the rise of the nuclear family as the typical household unit. And correspondingly, we saw a big decline in 3-generation households where older people began to be shuffled off into retirement villages, nursing homes, etc., out of sight, out of mind.
Is it possible for the aging years to be wonderful years?
We're aging really well in Australia, and that's without really trying. We're living younger longer. An 80-year-old today is like a 60-year-old 50 years ago. That means you're healthier, you're in a younger chassis than the number of years that you've got on the clock. And that's really important because you've got a lot of years of healthy life.
Most of us can look forward to 20 or 30 years after retirement. That's the same period from age 20 to 50, when we established everything about ourselves, study, career, family, finances. But we often face 60 to 90 blankly.
It means you've got to decide how much longer you're going to work. And if you give up paid work, whether you're going to actually do voluntary work, because working is really important to keeping young.
So if it's a time of possibilities, what's holding us back?
There are some common themes that we see in ageing, particularly fear and uncertainty about the unknown, and especially the perceived loss of control.
I tell you what people are scared of as we age. They're scared they'll fall. They're scared of going mad. They're scared of pain. They're scared they won't belly laugh or hold hands again. They're scared their life will be over while they are still alive.
something I want to share with you is that it is never, ever too late to plan. Start with where you're at. Start today. Talk to your doctors, your healthcare professionals, and your loved ones about your wishes for your care going forward. It makes all the difference.
Planning doesn't just mean considering who'll look after you or where you'll live. It includes your state of mind, your health, and your financial plan.
A question that we need to ask ourselves is how well prepared are we in protecting our lifestyle and our ability to make decisions for ourselves, or empowering other people who love us and who know us well to make those decisions for us.
Most of us are not good at planning for ageing, but men tend to be worse, letting events take over, then calling on others for support. Usually women, a partner if they have one, often the eldest daughter. It's rarely a son, and this can create resentment, anxiety, and guilt. Everyone has a different story. Let's call this Dario's.
If Dario's wife were still here, they would have made an aging plan together. Confronting it alone fills him with dread. But he knew she would tell him to just get on with it because it's better to confront your fears than live with a fear of the unknown.
But men and women's stories can be quite different.
A typical story is Mary, aged 58, and her husband, Bill, aged 61, at retirement. Bill's health starts to decline at 75, and Mary cares for Bill to his death at 80. In those 5 years, they use up their cash, Mary's friends evaporate, the kids live elsewhere, she can't drive, and at age 77, she is alone in a big house, facing 5 to 10 years isolated in the suburbs. With declining health and fearful of falls, Mary is a very long way from living her best years.
So let's change that to make your ageing journey the very best 30 years.